Good morning, everybody. Redneck Computer Geek here, and we're just doing a quick subscriber update. For those of you who don't know, I run around, I talk about a few things that have come up, show you a few things that are or are not in video, or things that happen to go and change since the video was created. On a positive note, my selling area for lawn tractors is entirely clear right now. Everything you guys have seen in lawn tractor hunt videos has sold. Almost everything sold for exactly what I expected it to. Some stuff a little bit less, but everything sold. We made our money and we're doing pretty good. So as we flip around here, I still haven't had a chance to go and drop the motor into Mud Wizard yet. It's still in progress. I've got parts in order to speed up the gas-powered power wheel. We're going to work on that soon. Look at this set of tires that I found for my wife's truck. I love these. They're awesome. Nice Mastercrafts HSXs for the Toyota Tundra that she drives. Grabbed those for 200 bucks. They sat in a guy's shed for a couple of years. He decided he was done with them. I ended up with this little pickup. It's a Super LT 1554. I was actually there in order to buy a wood chipper, and I ended up with the wood chipper for 75 bucks. I cleaned out the carburetor. It runs great. Wife is happy. And this was up in back, and he obviously looked like he was frustrated with it. $200 on the back of the truck and running, and it needs a carburetor, and I had to do some coil swaps. If you've ever dealt with these that have this stupid CDI whatever type ignition box on the side, you can swap these for good old-fashioned solid state coils. I'll post a link down below. So the 25 and the 27 horsepower, this is a 27, this is a 25 here. You can swap the solid state coils onto these if they have that dumb CDI wannabe type electronic ignition. This is another pickup. This is going to end up being in a tractor hunt video. As you can see, it's kind of in progress right now. And I love the new ramps. These are awesome. They work really good. I ended up letting a guy use them in order to load his tractor, and he caught my top piece with a blade. He accidentally hit the blade engagement, cut the top piece off a little bit right in there. But I've used them now to load several different tractors. I really like them. They fold out really nice, and you'll see those in future videos. Ended up with some free seats. Oh, you probably haven't seen my Instagram, so let's post up a photo from Instagram. There we are. So we ended up with some free seats. We ended up with this machine over here that's got a snowblower attachment on it. Obviously, I'm not going to be working on snowblower setups during this time of year, but this will be back later on in the season. We're going to rip that motor out. We're going to throw something that's actually got some gusto in there. Obviously, a seat in the back, and hopefully we'll be cleaning the driveway with this thing this year. This here is going to end up in another tractor hunt video. You'll figure that out soon. This came along with it for free. It is a hydro, and the motor supposedly ran a year ago. I'm going to tear into that and we'll see what we can do. Here's my GT6000, the big giant workhorse. I love this thing. This 1-point hitch was worth every single bit of investment possible. In my Amazon store, if you look in the link, you'll see that the Amazon store is there, and everything I've ever bought for it is in that. I love them. Ended up with a rolling chassis with a good working transmission. I'm probably going to rip that out and throw it on eBay. Another rolling chassis with a good working transmission. Yet again, I'll probably pull it out and I'll throw it on eBay. Now, if you're dealing with these little things, one thing that you want to watch for is you want to watch for this right here. There's a little spring that's right here, and if you're junkyarding these, you want to save that spring that's just in under the shifter. See if we can get another look at it. Right here, this spring. If you're dealing with trying to purchase one of those springs, they can go for upwards of $15 new, which is the stupidest thing ever. So make sure you save those before you junkyard them. But it should have a set of tires we can pull off for another project. That's got a amazing good set of tires. We also ended up with this little chassis piece here. So what I'll end up doing is I'll end up pulling the pedals and stuff because I'll use them on another project, and the rest of this will end up going to scrapyard. If somebody's looking for the handle pieces or anything like that off one of these little yard machine MTDs or something, feel free to go and send me an email. Who knows, maybe I'll send it to you. You know, $5, we can talk out a price. The Stanley, I gotta go and get this pulled out and work on that transmission. I ended up with some rear tires for it that I can potentially put on, so I'm really geared up to get this going now. And that's gonna unfortunately sit. That's gonna unfortunately sit. We're gonna get the Gator with the mobility scooter back out soon. We're gonna work on getting that up and running, probably reinforce the frame a little bit. It may or may not end up in video. This is my Harbor Freight tire changer. I really love this thing. It works really good. This bar here is actually out of their full-size tire changer setup. You can buy it aftermarket. I love it. I really recommend buying one. But you can do it with everything that comes in their original kit. Ended up with a free rototiller. I gotta swap a motor onto that later. Ended up with this little bugger. It was free. It looks in really good condition, so I'm betting it's probably just going to need a carburetor replacement. I ended up with this, which sounds like it should kick over. So we'll see whether that pressure washer will work. And we've ended up with a few other little things along the way that are going to end up in another video soon. The Husqvarna with the fuel injection is fuel pump, electric fuel pump. There we go, not fuel injection. So we've got the electric fuel pump here. We've got our regulator off of a Volkswagen Beetle here. We've got it set for, I believe, half of a PSI right now. And it runs amazing. It's a very cool little system and it works great. This right here, a lot of people ask me what this piece is. So you've got your fuel coming from your fuel tank going into your fuel pump. Your filter is on this side of your fuel pump going towards your tank. This comes out and it goes into a T, because coming out of this, you've got about 2 to 3 PSI coming out of it. This T allows the overflow to go back through, and this allows the half PSI to go around and into the carburetor so it doesn't flood it out. And that's how that system works. If you like, on my channel, you can find the video about doing this. All the parts are listed right in the description. But it works good. It's reliable. Starts every single time. It's about the only Kohler engine I've ever had that does that. We got it all loaded up. Oh, these tires here. These actually are slime tubes. And I love the tires filled with slime tubes. I swear it makes them like 3 times stronger when you put a slime tube in them. Really recommend adding those. So the John Deere that I had that little Sabre John Deere. I ended up trading it so that my wife could have some kayaks. Pretty cool, huh? So we got 1, 2 kayaks. I posted the little John Deere up for sale for $400 and I traded it for 2 kayaks that are only about a year old. They've got almost no scuffs on the bottom, and what scuffs are there, my wife probably put on. Oh yeah, the turkeys. So yeah, we've been doing some bow work and trying to go and get some things sighted in. And I've been sighting in my pellet rifle. I really like those response targets for when you're sighting in by yourself. Works really good. So the turkeys are growing. They're getting quite a bit bigger. And here's my hand for comparison. So they're probably at about 3 pounds or so right now. And when they get about twice the size they are now, we'll butcher them out. This pen here is just a storage pen. They're actually going to be going over in behind over there. I've got another area that I'm setting up this week to put them in. Down here, we've got the Turkins. My wife ended up picking up these strange Turkin things. We'll go take a look at them. We'll see what they look like. So these are Turkins. And they have like this weird little necky thing going on. And when they're babies, the feathers on top look more like a messed up mohawk from some sort of 80s film. But there they are. They're doing really well. And they'll get put in with the regular birds probably in about 2 weeks from now. And then we'll start a grow out. Because we ended up with a massive group of broody chickens in the hen house. This weather's been really weird. It really messed up all the broody hens and stuff. Some of them gave up, some ended up moving on. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, we ended up with like 5, 6 of them broody. And each one has anywhere from 8 to 15 eggs underneath them. So it should be interesting to see what happens for chicks. Now, if you've been around the channel for a while, you know that normally we have the garden in by now. This is the state of my garden. So as it sits right now, we can't seem to stop having so much rain. And because of the marine clay that we have here in Maine, if you put in your seeds and stuff, the marine clay ends up clumping and it kills the seeds or it rots them. So right now, the only thing in the garden is a poor little rhubarb plant over in the corner and the 2 strawberry plants that managed to survive the winter. Oh, this was my free emergency room medical bed thing that I ended up taking all the actuators out of. And it works really good. The top of the table is really hard to go and break. And it also sets up at an angle depending on what you need to do. And it works out pretty good. Free is free. Gotta love it. This was the machine that I picked up for 20 bucks. I managed to go and clean up and get running in a previous tractor hunt video. The beds need to be cleaned around them. I gotta go and get my weed whacker up and running. You know, the usual statement of the shoemaker's children have no shoes. I fix lawn tractors, but I couldn't keep a weed whacker running if I had to save my life. It is what it is. We got the little Troy-Bilt Mantis knockoff. I have an absolute hatred for this stupid thing. It's on its 2nd carburetor now, and it kills a carburetor because of the ethanol gas basically every single season, no matter what you do. Luckily the carburetors are really cheap. They're like 15 bucks, except for the problem is they're not easy to change. And the aftermarket carburetor actually doesn't fit correctly, and you have to cut out pieces in order to make it fit, and it's just a big twit. Bark, bark, bark. Run, 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 run. Alright, well, that's the Rogue Bagel chicken. If you've been around the channel, we call the Rogue ones bagel because that's what I usually feed them off the porch. And we've got the regular chicken run, which is finally starting to dry out. And there they are. So we've got this big behemoth of a rooster. He's doing really well. We got the other older gentleman here. And we've got this guy over here that's all a bunch of gusto and stupidity. And we're doing pretty good. I need to throw some sand out for them to be able to play in. And as you can see, I've been letting this dry out so that I can be able to clean it out with the hose. This is actually a gas tank off an extended cab 1995 Ford Ranger. And I just simply made an outside edge for it out of boards and slice the entire top off level. It works really, really, really good as a trough. So the whole chicken coop needs some love. We'll stick our head inside and we'll see whether anybody's home. Oh, there we go. The broody argumentatives. And then over here we've got the nest. And the scary part is it looks like she's added eggs to it. So we'll see what comes out of that. So the turkeys are going to end up over here over the course of the next day or two. That way they've got the entire area to grow out into. And we should be all set there. And here's some of the bantams kicking around. Now the wife raises these for a reason, and the reason is they make little eggs that are about that big. Actually, we'll see if one's in here. Oh, I don't see an egg at this time. So they make little eggs that are about that big, and they're great for pickling. That's the reason why she has them. And there's the Ford Explorer. I'll be working on some more later. So there we go. It's been hectic. It's been one heck of a last couple of weeks. I have put over 400 miles on my truck at this point in the course of the last 2 weeks. I've hauled my trailer halfway across Maine. I've picked up 9 different tractors and bought and sold another 7, I believe. So it's just been up, and I'm doing the best I can to keep you guys up to date and give you some footage along the way. But right now I've got to make money as fast as I can, because once the drought hits, then we'll start doing how-to videos, because up here in Maine, once the drought hits across the coastal area, nobody cuts grass. It just entirely dies off and nobody cuts grass. So I got to make the money now, and we'll get back into doing how-tos for you guys later. We're also going to get back into some mud running, playing around. ATV trails are finally starting to open. So we're going to see what we can get onto with the Mud Wizard, and we'll go from there. Thanks everybody for supporting me. Thanks for kicking around the channel. I know this has been a really long update, but I appreciate all of you. Have a good day.